everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
This is either the really late or the really early or the in-between show, I think, for everybody. Hillary and I were talking about how some are going to bed after this and some are right in the middle. And I think some are just now waking up and getting ready to start the second day of the Connect-a-Thon. So welcome, everybody. We've got a full house in here as well. Start letting us know what team you're on. Type in your team name and let us know. And while you guys also do that, we're going to talk a little bit about stats today, and we're going to show 2 quick tips. I want to let everybody know that I'm filling in for Alesh. I am not good at stats, so don't expect Alesh out of me. He will be back tomorrow and the next day as well. So let us know. We've got a lot of people. So we've got a lot of Super Aussie Genies in the house, some Northwest Terriers as well, Legacy Hares, the Southern Cross Stars, and Mighty Oaks is in the house. Kiwi Crew, the Toddling Tortoises are representing. So we've got quite a bit. We've got somebody from France too. Woke up an hour ago. You're ready to go. Okay, let me tell you guys too, if you do not know, if this is your first time to hang out, I'm going to tell you guys a word to type. You're going to type it. It can be capitalized or in a sentence, however you want to do it. It is cousins. And when you type that word, we will do a prize drawing at the end of the show. So type the word cousins. It is plural. And let's see how many we can get. So
did we happen to find out what the prize is?
The prize? I do not.
I don't know.
I do not. It's a surprise prize.
Oh, okay.
It's a surprise prize. So what have you guys been working on? What have you guys been doing? I know, Hillary, you guys have been working on a lot of things behind the scenes, cleaning up and doing a whole bunch of things with profiles and from the Wales team.
Yeah, but my team decided not to join the thon this time, so we are doing some cleaning up of the Wales profiles, cleaning up the GEDCOMs and doing some sourcing and generally tidying up things that may be connected to the Wales project. So
very worthy, like my son's teacher used to say, do worthy work, and that's worthy work. Kathy, what are you working on?
I don't know. I'm all over the place.
Now, I left Darren and David to last because you two are kind of working together on something really cool, right?
Well, our whole team is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What team?
The Globetrotters.
Globetrotters.
Yeah. Yeah, we are trying to make at least one connection for every one of our global countries, and that's been interesting. I got distracted because while I was doing Andorra, I came across a murder.
Oh,
yeah. and I wound up spending too much time reading and not making profiles. But yeah, an 1830 baroness who had a stalker.
Oh, no.
When they found out, they shipped him off to Galicia. He was in Spain. But before he went, he hid in the bushes and she went to go to the theater. He jumped out and murdered her.
What year was this? Around
1830s, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I'm kind of impressive that you're researching that far back as well. You know,
and then her husband, like 2 months later, got remarried, so he didn't mourn for a long time.
No. And it looks like Robert was saying that the Swedish archives, unreachable the whole weekend. That should not happen on a thon weekend. That's terrible. Hang in there. Maybe they'll fix it sooner than later.
Seems to happen like everywhere. It's like New Zealand, our BDM site goes down. Heard that it happens for Australian sites.
And I was going to say too, I know that Family Search, they always do an update, I guess Saturday, early Sunday, depending where you are. And most of the time we survive it. It's really quick. It's really easy. Sometimes, though, I think it was like last year, it was down for quite a bit. And I want to let everybody know that I put guess the Connect-a-Thon total in the chat. Go up and put your vote in. And Darren is go over some stats to help us kind of understand what these divisions are, what's going on. We have something called divisions. So let's see if we can figure out the divisions and also what the number for the chat is. But I do need to tell you that if you are interested on guessing the total, definitely be here this time tomorrow because Alesh is much better at this than I am. Okay, Darren, let's talk a little bit about these stats.
Yep.
And what in the world are divisions?
Well, it basically means that we're not just saying Appalachia winning everything. So, so it's divided. We've divided the. Oh, sorry, I think I muted myself. We've divided the teams are divided into 3 groups. So, Division 1 is the smallest amount of people in the group. Division 2 is sort of the medium groups, and then Division 3 is the super groups, the ones that have got quite a lot of people.
And I should mention too, you might see a couple new teams here as you're looking at the screen. And for example, Newt A and Newt B, the reason why there's an A and B is because if you reach signups for your particular Thon team at 50, once you get to 51, WikiTree asks you to split your team just to make it fair for everybody. So if one team had 75 and everybody else had 40, that doesn't quite equal it out and make it fair. So that's why you see 2 new teams that are there. And also Grave Guardians. They're new and they're in the larger team as well.
Yeah.
So where would you like me to start? Would you like to start at the smaller team?
Yeah, we'll start at the smaller team.
Okay, so the smaller team, and Kathy, look.
Sorry, I keep on hitting wrong thing. Yeah, so you got 17 teams in the Division 1, and you've got the Flying Dutchman, who's the second place there. There's 797 profiles for that team. Pretty good. And Team Italy, 860 profiles. So you can see by the spread that the teams all in Division 1 is sort of evenly split. Yeah. And you've got quite a few teams that are higher than the other divisions, but
And
there's
Friday,
people in these teams.
if Friday when the thon starts, a lot of people are still at work. So these numbers will get much interesting tomorrow on the weekend. Some of you are ready tomorrow. I guess we all are pretty much. Kathy, are you tomorrow already?
Yes.
I think you're the only one in our group that's the furthest back on the time zone. And then Division 2 is kind of in between, right, Darren? Kind of in between the really big and the smaller.
Yes. So Division 2's only got 12 teams this time. So I'm not sure why we've got 17 in Division 1 and 12 in the other 2 divisions. You've got Kiwi Crew, 957. So getting close to passing 1,000 there. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And sort of most of the Kiwi Crew are sort of got to be ending the day because it's 8 o'clock here in New Zealand. Then you got the Germany Genies at 1,580.
And they're just starting their day.
Yeah, they're starting the day.
Okay, then as we come up to the larger group, so this is going to be the more teammates per group. For I think they start about 26 members and go up to 50.
Yeah. So you got got some new groups in there, like the Grave Guardians and the new teams.
Mhm.
But most of these, most of these teams have sort of been around quite a few times, and they know how to do this stuff. Funny. So, second place, you've got Mighty Oats at 2,238. And then, of course, Appalachia Roots, with your biscuits, we've got 5,340.
Few of us have not slept yet. We're still going to. But the question came earlier, what are the divisions? What are they about? And basically, you're looking at size. Each team, each division, excuse me, has a different size. So Division 1 has less members in their team. Division 2 is kind of the middle ground, and then Division 3 is the larger groups. When a team gets 50 signups, if they get to 51, then they split. And that's why you see Newt A and Newt B, the new team. And you can win. Each division winner gets the winner badge for their profiles. So that kind of talks about the stats there. And we are now up to 27,672 profiles. So that's pretty good. I know everybody's going to ask me how we were doing this time last year, and I've got an answer for you. I'm not sure. But I know Alesh will know tomorrow. That I do know. But a few people were asking what the total was last year, and the total last year was 98,937. So I'm going to ask everybody that's in chat and everybody that's here with me, are we going to do it? Are we going to break the 100 mark? What do you guys think?
No idea.
No idea.
I'm wondering if we've ever gone down. Have we ever had a total that was lower than the time before?
Don't
I
know.
mean, I shouldn't say ever because
Yeah.
ever's a long time, but
Yeah, I think it has happened.
does it happen?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of answers here. It's kind of a mixed bag, what everybody thinks. And thank you, Kathy, for putting this up. This kind of talks about the team size that we have and explains it a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to leave it up to Alesh to kind of bring this into perspective tomorrow. Remember, he's going to be back at the 4 a.m. slot for the next 2 4 a.m. slots. But I think, why don't we go over quickly. The word again is cousins, plural. So if you want to be in the drawing for the prize, then type in cousins. If you have won a prize in the past 6 months from WikiTree, and that includes our bingo that David and I do, you are not eligible to win again. So it's like a 6-month break that you take from playing for the prizes. And that's just to keep it fair so everybody gets a chance to win a prize. Now, how would you guys like to see some new things that have been going on behind the scenes that the developers have been doing? I have 2 new tricks to show you guys that are kind of interesting. And if you are part of the Connectors project, you already know this one trick. I know, Darren, I got to tell you, if you're part of the Connectors project, it is fantastic because Darren's in the Connectors Discord a lot, showing people how to connect. And also we see a lot of connections that people will put up. So if you're doing the Connectors project, it's really fascinating to see the work that everybody does. Okay. Does everybody see what I call the little orange puzzle man up here? That used to be only if you were part of the Connectors project. And now Ian has given it to everybody. And what does that mean? If you see this little puzzle man, and you got to actually go into your WikiTree browser extension options to turn it on. But if you see the puzzle man, that means this is not connected to the big tree. And I'll show you real quick. If you go up to your WikiTree browser extension. And you're going to go down to profile. And if you don't remember this, just look through your options and look for connector jigsaw puzzle symbol as used by connectors, and just turn it on. And then that way you'll see the orange man. Now, here's something, Darren, that I think we should let everybody know. Let's say that you are working on this particular profile and you connect them to the big tree in the next 5 minutes. That puzzle man is still going to stay.
Yeah.
And about how long does he stay?
Well,
It's really hard to say, because I always tell people overnight, because where I am, it's almost overnight. But where you are, you probably see it at a different time. It might be during the day.
I think it's usually about 10 o'clock in the morning
For
that it
you,
will update. I haven't actually sort of paid much attention to it because I use one of the other methods to see if a profile's connected.
it just remember, so if you connect to the big tree in the next 5 minutes, the puzzle man will still stay there. It takes a while, because what happens is when Alish runs the reports overnight and the database does its run, then it checks and looks at what's connected along with a lot of other things, categories, CC7, things like that, errors. And then this puzzle man will disappear. But in theory, if you see it, chances are it is not connected to the big tree. Now, another thing that I want to show you that's really cool, and this one is really brand new. The puzzle man's about a month old for everybody to get it. But the next one is, how many times have you created a profile from scratch and you save it? Then you got to go back into the profile because you want to add a category, say the location or something like that. Now you can do the category as you're creating the profile. So I'm just going to go and say add sibling. Let me come up and use my sorcerer and save the person's data. And I'm going to come over here and dump the data here. But look what we got, this new little box. So before we wouldn't be able to put the categories here. Most of us recognize that you put the categories above the biography and you have those little boxes that you can search by. Well, now you have this. So let me go ahead and put the location of this person's death. Oops. And there it is. So all I got to do, it pops up. I just click on it. It automatically puts it above the biography because that's where categories go. And then if everything looks good, you hit continue and you double check for duplicates. I've already done that. So none of these. Come over to your new profile and you have your category. Pretty cool. So you can do everything. You can do locations. If you know their occupation, you can do that. If you know their cemetery, you could add their SimCat right there as you're creating. Instead of having to create, come back, go back into the edit screen and type everything in there. So pretty quick and easy. And I will tell you that the person who created that is in the chat. That's Flo who did that. Ian did the puzzle man and Flo did the category. So thanks so much. Oh, and I should mention as well, I'm sorry, Flo, your arrow keys. So if you don't want to use your mouse and you like using your keyboard, you can also use the arrow keys for that. And thanks, Shonda. The category edition is great. Has been adding the infant mortality categories as she enters the profiles. So that's a little way that you can enter different types of categories. What do you guys generally enter for categories? Do you enter the cemeteries? Do you enter the locations?
Locations normally for birth, at least. I've been updating some things recently and I've just used the auto categories for it. Because once you put the categories in, once you put the locations in, it will find the main locations in the like the birth and the death and the marriage ones. It'll find.
Well, Hillary, now I got to ask you a question because I know that you're sitting in Wales right now.
Yeah.
And for the location category for Wales,
Yeah.
are they really this long? I mean, do they really? I mean, the letters in a town name in Wales.
Yeah.
Can be,
Well, I mean, if you get the longest name in one, if you're local, you just shorten it to Llanfair PG because it's just so much easier than playing the whole thing. But there are long places. There are long places. You know, there's well, I mean, put it this way: if you put the full address, if you put the full location name in for the village where I live, you've got 3 words just in that first part of the location, and then you've got the county and the country and the fact that we're in the UK if you want to add the UK for after 1801. But we get a lot of problems with locations.
That's what I was going to ask. I mean, I can imagine your cleanup that you're doing even now is sometimes a lot when putting in those locations. I know that a couple people do migration as well, categories if they are going from one location to another. Kathy, I can see you guys using that a lot in Italy and looking at they immigrated, so they migrated on.
Yeah, Italy is locations are interesting. I can never remember, so I kind of stay away from those profiles. I work on the English ones. And my little spiel for like new people, when you're putting the location in the birth, marriage, and death field, write out the whole location, but do not put they died in a cemetery or they died in a hospital or they died, were born at the hospital. In the US, it would be like town, county, state, and country. If it's after 1776, England is UK or United Kingdom after 1801, Northern Ireland after
1920. Is it 4?
21 or 22?
It's
I should know that. I keep doing this suggestions
I think
on
it's
that.
1921 that the suggestion cuts out at.
Oh, right,
Yeah,
right. It's usually correct, yeah.
Yeah, I
So,
ignored, yeah.
Well, Darren, we have a challenge for you.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I've been through there. I'm pretty sure it's in the Hawke's Bay, but I cannot pronounce it at all. I'm not even going to try.
So this is just right around the corner from you, right?
No. That's in a different island. But I have been there. Well, I'm pretty sure I've been there.
And is that an island that you're working on with the global project?
Well, it's in the North Island of New Zealand in the Hawke's Bay region, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, actually, New Zealand's not part of global. They have their own project.
Oh, that's right. That's right. So, Darren, you're working on a lot of islands, though, right? For the global.
Yeah, well, I've got quite a few islands, and yeah, a lot of the profile names and the location names, they're interesting to think about, and you have to think about if you're spelling it correctly.
And Darren, Ruth would like to know, where is it? The long named place.
Uh,
Joku, you're going to have to tell us where or how you found that record too. That would be interesting.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get the. Where is it? Yeah, it's a hill in southern Hawke's Bay.
But is it in WikiTree?
Did you just?
I don't think so, but it's sort of well in the wops. So So, it's
So did you just type it into your search engine?
like copy paste.
Oh,
Let's. Can I?
Now I'm curious, has anybody given yourself a goal of how many profiles you will do during this Connect-a-Thon? I have not. My main purpose was just to enter a large amount of DNA cousin bait. And however far I get with that, and it's mostly last name and location I'm looking at from a Texas group of individuals. So that was my main goal. And I don't know how many there are. So that's how come I don't have a number. But what about you guys? Do you guys have a number that you're looking at? Or are you looking at just a particular location, family line? CC7, who's working on their CC7?
No.
yeah, I'm a little all over the place this time.
Yeah, I always used to be all over the place. I used to do something, and then I thought, oh my god, I fancy a change. I'll do something different. And sometimes it was CC7, sometimes it was but I haven't got a lot to add to my CC7. So and then sometimes it was I was doing something on helping out on, I tend to like go and add things, because if I've updated a profile and there's obviously family members missing, and I put the census on there, I'll go and add it to the category that needs profiles creating for that county or whatever, because most of my work's in England and Wales, and then either I can update it, or if somebody else is working on it in the Connect-a-Thon, they can update it because they can find it easily in that category.
That's a good point. And you mentioned, they can find it easy in that category. So categories are important to profiles. Somebody asked, why do I really need them, or why they're important? And I think of them as file folders. They you can put the profile in a bunch of different file folders and people can find them. But somebody said they like to put as many categories as appropriate because they use WikiTree Plus to try and find them as well. And I hadn't thought about that. So that was a good idea too. And I like this as well, trying old whole villages in my one place study project. And, I love the one place study project. So that's a really good idea to get them in, because once you get a person in, chances are from that whole village, you're easily adding families and then neighbors and so on. And I agree. I feel so bad for you, Robert. It's really hard when the archive's down. That's a struggle. How many people are using their cell phone to Thon? Kathy and I were talking about this earlier.
I only know one person that's ever done that.
Yeah,
I did it the very first Source-a-thon, but that's it. And that was the tiny phones that they had then. But I feel for you if you're using your phone and trying to source or trying to add and source and connect. I feel for you, because that's got to be tough. We were talking today how many. It used to be if you're doing it by your phone. Now it's how many monitors do you have?
I have 2 monitors.
Yeah, same here.
I agree. You got to have something bigger than the phone to do that.
Yeah, because you can't use things like the sorcerer if you're going to use it, and the sorcerer is so good for helping to add things and add people. If you're adding census information, it's just straight in, easy.
It really is. Yeah. It gives us a little bit of a biography as well, or you can use the WikiTree browser extension AutoBio. But the source, you're right, Hillary, it just gives us the sources. The only thing that I'm curious to see, Darren and Hillary and everybody in chat that's not in the United States, or if you have the same problem, if you do happen to use Family Search for your location, does Family Search give you about 50 marriage sources? Because in the United States, they give us so many marriage sources, we have to delete them out. But do you guys in your archives find a source they duplicate so much?
The trouble is that they've got a transcription that they've got up there, and then they might have a link to the archive. I find like that they'll have a transcription that somebody's done in the past, and then they might have the county archive, they might have a link from that. So sometimes you will get, if you just use the build all citations, you will get more than one. And sometimes I just end up deleting the ones I don't want, just put the important one, like the archive, because that's the place. If I really wasn't able to get a hold of something online, that's the place I'd go to.
That makes sense. And I think that's what we end up doing, deleting the 49 out of the 50. They want to make
sure that many, but we get enough.
It gets interesting. What about you, Darren?
Well, if I'm getting it from a family search profile, I've got to check it to see whether or not people have added the Ancestry.com sources to the family search profile as well. And sometimes you get duplicates with that. But if I'm doing just BDMs, I just use the WikiTree B, and it's set up to pick up the details from the New Zealand BDM.
And this is interesting. They use family search for the actual records, not their profiles, and that makes sense. And then somebody else barely uses family search, and I agree with Mel. It has family search has become very annoying with the need to constantly log back in. That has been something that's just annoying. And in Australia, the grave records are duplicated. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So it looks like family search and others archives they have their pluses and their minuses as they go through it. Well, I think we should talk about the prize giveaway. So if you have not typed in the word cousins yet, please type it in and we're going to do the giveaway. Let me share my screen real quick. Yeah, and the prize will be a surprise. A1 will get in touch with you and she'll let you know what the prize is. So here we go. You guys ready? Let's see. Oh, there it is. Susan.
And she just put it on too.
She's on the the tortoises, I believe. And guess what? She's also in Appalachian. But we have found, so don't think we're an exclusive bunch. We have found that you give us somebody and we can probably find an Appalachian in your family, that one. So congratulations, Susan. A1 will be in touch with you. And anybody have anything left to talk about? Anything you want to mention or say?
Well, I've got a challenge for you.
Okay.
Find an Appalachian connected to me.
I knew you were going to say that. We're going to talk about that in the Connectors Discord.
Well, there's Appalachia.
I was going to say, wait till after the thon, and she'll find one for you, Darren.
She'll find one.
The little known Australian enclave that
went over there
that nobody knows about.
Or came back. And I will tell you that if anybody is participating in the rock this month, there are 5 that need rock. So after this, if you're enjoying the connecting and the adding profiles, definitely look at the rock. And I have found, this is the first time that I really, really tried, but all 5 of the rocks have Appalachian in there. And some of them are from Kathy's era, way up in New York. So that was kind of an interesting find as well. But otherwise, everybody, thank you so much for watching. If you watch live, thank you for participating. If you're watching this after the fact, we appreciate you watching as well. Have a very good couple hours and go ahead and put those connections in. Let's see what the numbers are. We were at 27, almost 28,000, and the next hangout will be in about 3.5 hours. So thanks everybody for joining us. Bye, everybody.
Bye.